Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Video Game Collectors Podcast. I'm Matt Rose.
I'm Josh Byerly.
And I'm Chris Larson.
Nice. I like that. He's ready. Uh, we're excited to have you. We're excited to hear your story. I'm excited to hear your whole story because I don't know your whole story. I have a feeling Josh knows a lot more than I do. I'm also excited because you like G.I. Joe as well. So I think
Yeah, you bet.
that's
You bet. Maybe at some point at some point we can have a look at some interesting little things there. So
sweet.
um yeah, so I'm Chris Larson, and in I don't know, the early 90s, there was a group of magazine writers called Katz, Kunkel, and Worley, and they put together a magazine called Video Games and Computer Entertainment. They did another one called Electronic Games Magazine. And around that time, I was like reading every EGM I could get my hands on. I was, writing reviews and stuff for friends, and they introduced the concept of doing fan magazines, and this was just before the web, right? So think 91, 92, 93, right in there, right before people really even had exposure to it. And they took their inspiration from like comic zines and also music. So like there was a lot of people writing music. And one of the other big things going on at the time was there was a magazine called 411, something like Freaking 411 or something like that, and then 2600. So there were these other kind of hackerish magazines that were produced just like, on photocopied paper, basically. And they introduced the video game audience to that. And so I said, well, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. So I did. And although this isn't mine, there's a story behind this magazine here. So this is Paradox. This was produced by a fellow by the name of Chris Johnston. And Chris Johnston ended up going out and on to writing for EGM.
Huh.
So yeah, he was a news editor for a while, and he wrote for an anime magazine and all sorts of other stuff like that. So that's a sample of it. Paradox. One of the more popular ones was Digital Press. I don't have one handy right now, but this is another one.
Paradox done? Sorry to interrupt you.
No, go for it.
When was Paradox? What was the year of that?
So this particular issue was May of 1993. But he was around for, I don't know, a couple of years doing Paradox. And this is actually probably the thinnest issue. He was prolific is like an understatement. He used to make, like stacks of paper and send them to people. And it was really cool. It turned out to be this little community of fanzine writers. And we used to trade each other fanzines. And then in addition to that, here's one, Video Views. This is another one. So there were a few of these authors. So I went from doing a fanzine called The Panic Zone. And then later I ended up doing a fanzine with different people. And that fanzine was called Codename Magazine. So it was like six different people, and it was a total and complete nightmare to get everybody in and together to do this. And it was all snail mail and like trying to put something together. But I had a guy that did artwork, and I had a different guy that did a cartoon for it, and it was kind of cool. Later on, what that did is it got me into kind of like creating websites. And I started out oh, I don't know, doing uh like BBS and alt dot video game dot whatever, the what is it, news
The
whatever,
news
anyway,
groups.
IRCs,
Yeah,
news
yeah,
groups.
yeah.
So I did that for a bit, and then I went into college and I started doing computer stuff as well as journalism stuff, and I ended up getting to the point where I was running a pretty self-sufficient website. It was started out as Fat Man Games, and then later on it became Stage Select. It was a database of about 40 to 50,000 video games with reviews and FAQs and everything else. Um, and then Giant Bomb happened, and they did it better.
Can
And
you
so I stopped.
can you paint for us like a timeline of those years? Do you know? I think
Yeah,
it's
so
helpful if people have that perspective.
yeah, so 1992, I think, was the first year that uh, Arnie Katz, Bill Kunkel, Joyce Worley, that's when they started writing these articles about, hey, video games needs a community, and one of the ways that we build the community is fanzines. So right around 92, I decided that I was going to write a fanzine. I didn't tell my folks or anything like that. I just wrote one, and I sent like a copy or two off to one or two people to be like, hey,
Yeah.
how is it?
And
And they said, yeah, keep going.
you're the ripe age of 17,
Yeah.
16
Yeah.
doing this.
It was 17.
Yeah.
And so I started doing that, and then I don't know, I had, within a couple of months, I had 200, 250 subscribers. So they'd send you a stupid dollar in the mail, and it would pay for postage, and I'd go down to Kinko's and I'd just be like, you're the kid that's just going to be sitting at the copier for the next 5 hours or whatever. It was ridiculous. And I would cut stuff out and paste it all together. I was writing stuff in like Word Perfect and then printing it out on a dot matrix, and and then like somebody would draw a piece of artwork and I'd like paste it onto the page and photocopy it, and that was the thing. Yeah, it was real low tech.
Now, your zines, were they mostly focused around the gaming aspect of
Oh
video
yeah.
games?
Yeah, it was all video games, and it was probably the first ones that ever came out. But
What,
it's
but it was simply reviews or how it was to
yeah, it
play
was
the
like
game.
reviews, news, and what ended up happening is uh, there's all of these companies work through press agencies, right? And somehow they got word that I was doing this again. 200 people, no big deal. But Nintendo, I contacted Nintendo. Nintendo contacted me. NEC contacted me, and Sega contacted me. So the first big pieces of my collection, the TurboGrafx 16 with the CD player, the Super Nintendo and like 10 games, the Genesis, the 32X, a bunch of games. They were all just sent to me.
What?
They're like, hey, review this stuff.
Man, you were YouTube before you were before
Yeah,
they were YouTube.
it was awesome. It was awesome. I could not believe when I fired up East. So East was the game that they sent to me on the TurboGrafx CD. So, and I fired that thing up and I could not believe it. My hair was like standing on end. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was such a cool intro.
Not many people were playing Ease in the US at that
No,
time. So
no. And this is when,
unfortunate.
like, right around the time that NEC was handing things over to TTI or whatever.
Mhm.
And so all of those guys, I knew those guys for, like a year or whatever. But the Sega guys and in particular, the Virgin Interactive guys, they were just spectacular to me. They'd advertise, again, this is a photocopied piece of, it's this. And they were advertising in the fanzine. So it was pretty remarkable. And because of that, I got invited to go to the summer CES in Chicago. So I stayed at a friend's place in Coal City. And that was in the McCormick Center in Chicago, which is like the big place up there. So we get in there and we're checking things out, and Atari has the Atari Jaguar, and they're showing it, and people are super like excited about the Jaguar. Atari's back. Yeah. And Sega was there. Sega had their VR there. I don't know if you know this, but Sega had VR for about 2.5 seconds that they were planning for the Genesis. And we get over to the Nintendo booth and we're playing Donkey Kong Country, and it's using computerized graphics. And I said, hey, we heard the rumor about a new system. I had heard no rumor about a new system. All right, none. They're like, yeah. Oh, you're in the demo, right? Yes, I believe that I am in the demo. And so believe it or not, what they did is they loaded us up onto a bus, and we went over to this, I don't know, like Hilton, and it was a super fancy hotel, and they bring us all the way up to like the 30-something floor, and there's all these people there. They're all press. They're all way older than me. They're like, they're like hardened journalists, and I'm like a kid with his buddy, right? And I'm about to get into this room. Oh yeah, I'm signing in with Golan Harris. Yada yada. That was their press people at the time. I don't know if it still is, but I'm like, I don't know what I'm even gonna see. And they bring us in, and it's the Ultra 64. So that was the code name for the Nintendo 64. So it was before anything was released for it. And I walk in, and there's a Cruisin' USA arcade prototype. So it's just wires everywhere, but plus like you could play the game. And then over in the back, they had tables, and the tables had, monitors and a Super Nintendo controllers, right? And then the tables had these, they were like big black kind of curtains in front of them. And it was Killer Instinct, and it was Killer Instinct, the arcade game. It wasn't like the Nintendo 64 game. I think what they were trying to do is pass this off as this is what you're getting with the Nintendo 64, but what they were really showing us was the arcade hardware. Well, I lifted up the curtain underneath, and it's Silicon Graphics Indigo machines. They were displaying it with actual Silicon Graphics hardware. It was wild. It was wild. No pictures, couldn't take pictures, can't take audio recording. I just came out of the thing just breathless, and I'm like, oh man.
Act like you're supposed to be there, man.
Yeah, it was wild.
What a cool story, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of photos from your time doing the zine, and being able to travel around like that, did you take photos? Do you have old photos?
Yeah, I do. Hold on just a second.
Okay.
Here we go.
That's so insane.
So there's me at summer CES. I had to wear a tie because there was like a dress code.
What year is this? 94? 95?
This might have been 93. Between 93 and 95.
Okay.
But this is the actual copy that Viacom gave me. And then this is the
amazing.
Yeah. Hold on, let me see if I can get a better shot of that. Well,
here I can
such luck.
Let me
there you go.
Let me spotlight this so I can zoom it in. Hold on.
Oh, there we go.
Beavis and Butthead. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had these ridiculous Beavis and Butthead statues. So one of the cool things that I have as a result of doing all of this is I've got some prototypes. I've got I don't know, I've got all sorts of cool tchotchkes.
Oh, that's how you move screens around. Hey, I just figured it out while we were doing this. I'll just drag and move.
Chris, you didn't go to CES in 92, did you?
93, I think.
Okay. I have some old Nintendo floor plans of their booth in 92. So I was going to bust them out.
It might have been 92. It was 92 or 93.
This was Vegas, 92 Vegas CES.
Vegas. Oh, yeah. I would have been just in Chicago.
Okay. Yeah, that's something different then.
So you saw the Nintendo 64 before anybody even knew it existed.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was just like it was like a guess. Like, hey, I heard you guys are working on a new system. Like, that's so stupid.
And then,
no, yeah, that's what you got to do, man. That's really a cool story. I mean, just I guess the genesis of you, literally.
Yeah.
Is in video games. You know, it's rooted in gaming, right? You love this stuff growing up, and you just full tilt boogie on it.
Exactly. My coming of age story is games. It's so I don't know. It's dumb. So I've always been a fan.
And you've always collected it, right? So in between your zine, becoming an adult, and now you got a real job, have a family, and
well, where did the collecting really, or where did video games all start for you though? Like, what was your first experience with video games? Where did that all start? Because we're kind of in the 90s here, but obviously that started way before that. What was your first?
So there's a couple of little stories about games. The first one is kind of weird. When I was a little kid, I watched TV like nonstop.
Yeah. And
my mom dared me. She bet me you can't go a year without TV. I said, well, can I play games during that year? She's like, I'll give you $500 if you give up TV for a year. And yeah, you can play games. So I basically played Nintendo all year. I played lots of Mega Man and lots of had anything I could get my hands on for NES. So that's like a quick weird story. But my big one was the Genesis was the first system that I ever bought, with my own money that I earned myself. Babysitting, delivering papers, lots of delivering papers, which isn't even a thing anymore.
Yeah, that was a big thing as a kid, paper routes and getting, random tips from,
So my ass was up at, 5 a.m. and biking around town. And I lived in Minnesota, and you had to deliver the papers in the middle of the winter. So that sucked. A bike ride around town in the sub-zero weather, that wasn't fun. But I eventually I ended up getting the Genesis when I moved to Michigan. My friend had maybe he had it like 2 months before me, and he had Revenge of Shinobi, and I couldn't believe it. It was crazy. So I had to get it immediately. I got the thing. So my brother could drive. I couldn't drive. And so I said, here's all my money. Go get me a Genesis. And he comes back a half an hour later. Dude, you didn't have enough money. What? You didn't have enough money for tax. So it was like another 2 weeks before I could get the Genesis. Then eventually I got it. And then I had Altered Beast to play for like 2 months because I didn't have anything else.
Yeah.
but every month I'd go find EGM, and I'd read that thing cover to cover, all the Japanese stuff that they came up with, and they had the rumors, and they had dude, some of that stuff is so absolutely crazy. Even to this day, I really wish I had kept some of those old magazines. I might have to go hunt them down. Yeah, EGM was awesome. And after a bit, when I was doing my fanzine, I got to take a tour of Sendai Publishing, which again, around Chicago. And so I got to see EGM when EGM was like the biggest magazine aside from Nintendo Power. And I got to see everything. I got to see how they made all the magazines. And I had a friend that ended up, being in the magazine. It's just nuts. It's just nuts. It was like, I don't know, when you're young, nobody, and if you're young and you want to do something, you just do it. Mm-hmm. And it just works. I don't know.
I mean, if you really love it, right? Like that's,
yeah.
And you did. I got to ask though, you didn't go into a career working at a magazine.
Well, I was pretty convinced that I'd be able to do this professionally. And I got into college and I majored in journalism. Mm-hmm. And then people started telling me, you're going to make 20 grand coming out of journalism school, and what you're going to be writing is obituaries. And that was kind of a turnoff. I was already taking out loans. I was working full time. And people were always asking me to repair their computers. Hey, dude, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. You seem to know about these computers. So I ended up learning about the web. The first thing that I did was network administration while I was in school. And then after that, this company had an intranet and hadn't paid attention to it. And then I worked in healthcare. And I just started doing web stuff. And I've been doing web and e-commerce and healthcare or healthcare related stuff ever since. There's job security. People need you. You learn really great stuff. People can see your work. You're working with artists. You're working with designers. You're working with techs. So it wasn't games, but I don't know, dude. It was still it has been a really fulfilling, career path. And it's kind of parallel to games. Just more people need it.
Yeah.
So I've had to do technical writing, and I've had to do the functional specs. Now I manage programmers. I've got a team of about 10 people, and it's awesome. It's awesome.
Do you ever get the itch to write more?
Yeah. I know there's a couple of people around that really want to start something up, and my biggest issue is time, but I very much want to get back into something like that. I mean, this is not the picture of a guy having a bad time. So yeah, I'll probably do that.
Wasn't Hopper recently?
Yep.
Facebook posts on trying to dig some.
Yeah, I didn't want to put it on him like, hey, he wants to do it, but like, I don't want to be the guy that's pressuring him into doing it. But I got to meet him. He's such a good dude, and I get along with him. Like, yeah, he's a good dude. It's
a very genuine guy. I do like him too.
Yeah.
I think something's going to happen there. So I mean, there's
I hope so. I hope so. He deserves all the success that he deserves success. That's what I'll say about that. He's really determined. He's a good dude.
Yeah, we'll be excited when we can finally get him on the show.
Yeah.
We talked about it at the beginning of this year, but we'll get him on eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it couldn't be nicer. At least for my interactions.
Wow. So with gaming came collecting. You know, a lot of times we say, you know, collecting and gamers, they're two different people, but we like video games as well, right? Like that's the thing. We like to play them, we like to collect them. And with you, you've been doing this so long, you've been through this evolution of collecting where, hey, I can get every Genesis game, I can get any game cartridge only. You've added this other layer of sealed and grading, not necessarily sealed, but just grading on top of it. And it, for me personally, it adds this next level of collecting, right? Like I can do something different that isn't just a set. So
I completely agree. Yeah.
And I think it's a nice evolution for a collector. And I know that people don't necessarily like it, and that's fine. But I genuinely find a lot of I guess my passion in it myself, because I'm constantly looking as a collector, trying to buy stuff, find something new, and it's a new challenge. So I think just having that extra layer of certification is really the catalyst that got me going again on this, because I was burned out.
It's attainable too, especially in CIB.
Yeah.
You know, it's attainable. The prices aren't, you know, catastrophically out of this world to say you found a manual that will upgrade your, you know, your set, and to go out and get that and do that. It's feasible for more people than going out and buying a sealed Super Mario.
Sure.
Yeah. And there's, you know, the last like 3 years, just in general, gaming has gotten a little bit harder. Everybody knows what they have. Everybody is going out for it, like thrift stores and garage sales. They've all, you know, dried up because the thrift stores are all doing everything online, and you know, garage sales are really about other stuff now. You know, like I don't know, at least around here, there's always been like a lot of competition in this area. And the way that I've collected really has been, you know, I'll get a large amount of stuff. I'll keep this and sell the rest and rinse and repeat. And, you know, that's the way that I've managed to make it work. For the last, like, I don't know, 7-8 years, I have not put any money from my normal paycheck into games, or if I have, it's been temporary, you know, like, oh yeah, I got to buy this to get this, and you know, in the meantime I might have to borrow from myself, but like for the most part it has paid for itself. And the way that I got into the sealed and graded stuff is I met a group of people through Jeff Masser. He made the high-end game room. Well, you know, I wasn't really, you know, this kind of traditional collector, and I didn't really feel like I felt in there, like I felt like I fit in, you know, right away. But it did introduce me into a couple of different things, like, hey, you're collecting wrong. You know, you discover that, like, you know, a lot of other people they don't. Let me back up. I always thought that the way that my collection would work is like the old man that listens to records, you know, by himself on his rocking chair, you know, like, oh, I got my old jazz records. Yeah. I was gonna be that guy. That was gonna be my retirement. That's the way I was gonna do it. And in the past 3 years, the world has changed. Like the way that people play games now has changed completely. If you look at this is the way that people play games now, right? Mm-hmm. Or they mod their systems, right? So I've got like a modded Dreamcast here. That's the way that they play the games. You don't put any wear and tear on your games. You're playing on original hardware. You're playing with the original equipment. I've got a nice GameCube modified as well. You're playing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to be able to see that.
Spotlight this just so I can.
I know.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see there. There we go. You can kind of see it. There is a SD drive in my GameCubes. There is one there. You can see that. So it's like a 3D printed little thing that covers things up, and then the actual games are played this way. And then the advantage is you don't have to worry about ripping up your cards. And in the case of the FX Pack Pro and the Mega EverDrive Pro, it extends the capabilities of your systems. So this one lets you do CDs, or lets you do CD music plus the games. And then this one lets you do what's called MSU1, which is CD quality sound on original Super Nintendo hardware. It's like it was, the Nintendo PlayStation.
Wow.
And then if arcade is your thing, they've got Mister now. So Mister is an FPGA system. So there's no lag on Mister. It's different than a Raspberry Pi. And it's better. And again, no wear and tear on your stuff. And if you're into original cartridges on new systems, they've got this.
Yeah.
The Analog Pocket.
Yeah. So
this will play cartridges. So has a Game Boy slot, but it also does the same thing as Mister. It has open FPGA, and all this stuff has really woken me up. Like, finding out that there were other. So again, having Jeff show me this other world of collectors, right? That are more, they're more traditional collectors, right? They're more like guys that collected comic books, or guys that collected cards, stuff like that. And the way that they collect is different, and what they collect is different. And they look at things like, what are people going to remember in 50 years? Or they look at things like, what's the condition, right?
Yep.
And so I've always collected for rarity, and I've always collected for, personal provenance. But, recognizing the way that other people collect is important. So I took some of the games that I've gotten over time, and I got them graded, and then I've bought several $1,000s now worth of stuff at auction or private sales, and so I've found just different ways to collect. And like you were saying, Josh, you get burnt out after a bit. It's a new way to collect. So I can still be the old man listening to my records, right? On original hardware. But then I also have like the best copy in the world of several games. And that's pretty dope. I dig that.
And one of those best copies is one of your favorite all-time games, correct?
Yeah. So just recently, with the help of a particular person, I don't know if people want me to mention names, but I can. But I bought this, somebody got lucky on an eBay auction, and then I enhanced his luck. But that's my favorite game of all time. So that's called Thunder Force 3. Here, I'll switch the camera over. That's called Thunder Force 3. And Thunder Force 3 has some pretty crazy sound There we go. Crazy sound, and it's got the big bass that Genesis is known for. It's the FM synth is crazy. I was so excited to get this. I kind of let my excitement go crazy because at the latest Nintendo auction. By the way, guys, I got to ask you what you got in the latest Nintendo auction. I ended up picking up Thunder Spirits.
Okay,
which is the inferior Super Nintendo version of this.
I have to say, I really like CGC's holder on this, on the Genesis.
Oh, isn't it gorgeous? Yeah. The knockouts for the corner on the plastic games, they have these edges on them, right? Yeah. But let me show you what they did with cardboard. So over time, they have enhanced their holders. This is kind of an unnatural position. Sorry.
That's what you said.
Here we go. Here's another really nice one. So now look at the edges here. Yep. You can see that the bump outs are gradual curves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's less pressure on those corners. And I think that that's a really clever design choice. I really, really think that works well. And their blisters have been very nice and clear from the get-go. Yeah, in terms of their encasement, somebody asked me if I thought you didn't like those. No, I like their encasement a lot. I might disagree with some of the grading standards, but it's mostly because I don't know them. I don't know
who's grading it,
what they consider good and bad.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at with a lot of it right now.
Yeah,
you see a 9.6A, is it comparable? Right.
Yeah, the range on if you look at right, and is it comparable to WADA? And the answer is sometimes.
Sometimes, right, and the same thing with VGA, right? Like is an 85 actually a 9.4A plus? Like that, everybody says it always is, and that's not the case.
No,
I'm learning that they value different things, like water damage, fade, corner bumps. They're treated, slightly different between the two. How they handle shrink wrap. They are different. It doesn't make one worse than the other, but it is different. And if you don't know it going in, if what you're after is a pretty number and not getting your game protected, you better know which company to submit to.
Yep,
that's a great point. I like that.
Yeah, that's fair, totally fair.
But if you're just going for protecting it, then go with the one you like the style of the best.
Right. I have had conversations with the folks over at CGC. My understanding is that they will never do a genuine designation instead of a grade. So if what you have is a piece of trash, you should probably get a gen from WADA.
So like literally a piece of garbage out of Atari landfill. Send it to
WADA. That's literally that's like the example too, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I did that. I have genuine a gen defender that I did.
Oh, you did? Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I was getting it shipped back from WADA right when I was transitioning from PWCC when they laid everybody off. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm not sending it to PWCC Vault. Let's ship it to the Golden Vault. So it's hanging out at the Golden Vault. And I just won't get it back at this point. Honestly, I have a small order sitting there, but there's like, it looks really cool in the holder though. Like it just is a neat item to encapsulate. I mean, I think, if that's CGC's policy, that's CGC's policy. But to say never to do something like that, it's interesting because I truly believe that certain things, while CAG at CCG, they do stuff that's here's a real item, right? Like that Nintendo auction they did with all the paper. That was all like, here's an official authentic item. If CGC video games like expanded their holder to say, hey, this is a genuine item under the CAG brand, then maybe they would do that.
Yeah. So. I mean, I'm sure that there's ways that they could do it without, I mean, you know, obviously on any time where you see a rating system, there is always going to be the concern of when those items get resold, you know, without a proper numeric designation, you're not really understanding what you're getting other than the fact that it's not a counterfeit, you know? Whereas, important, you know, a numeric representation at least tells you, okay, you know, it's good, or it's great, or, you know, at least, but who knows, you know, things can happen in those blisters. Things can happen. Generic, like it's not.
I think like, how can I say this? The number's going to just, it will always, regardless of what people say, buy the game, buy the book, not the grade, buy the game, not the grade, regardless of what that saying goes, the numbers will always help dictate the value, right? But you get to these one-off things like mock-up boxes or prototypes or whatever. There's
what even is the point of putting a numeric score on a one-of-a-kind item? It doesn't matter.
Well, I feel like that with NWCs, you know, we've talked about that in Clubhouse a lot. Like, do NWCs really need a grade? Sure, there's enough of them.
There's a few of them, yeah.
But
or they are at least shaped like other cartridges, so like you can rate it against other cartridges. But like I don't think anybody's expectation is to get a gem mint NWC grade.
I'd rather have a finalist NWC than a generic one, right? I'd rather have Thor's NWC, even if it has half the label ripped off, than the nicest NWC that exists.
Right.
So
I think that you know half of it is like the numeric grade and half of it is the encapsulation. Like if you look at something like a WATA case, like if somebody came out with a non-graded, just snap together case with a blister in it, or with rails, and they just came out with a case that had enough breathing room for the Genesis games, like, because the acrylic cases don't, like you got to squish down the hang tab, so there isn't really a good Genesis acrylic case out there. And in general, acrylic cases are going to rub against your game. They're not a perfect fit. They're going to rattle around a little bit.
The Earth's going to rotate.
It's good to have that kind of encasement.
Yeah.
If somebody came out with just like a non-graded just case, like a snap together case, I'd dig that.
Good point.
I mean, I was going through my Sachin games, and I have 2 copies of Huge Insects. So I was like going to put them in some slider, like NES cases with the bottom slider. I started putting one in. It's just a little too tight, right? Like, it's just not the right size. So I can't do it. And because they're just ever so slightly larger than a regular NES box.
Yep. And that's something that the encapsulation kind of, accommodates, which is good. I don't know. Does it really preserve the games? I think it preserves the shrink wrap. I think that there's other problems that, there's capacitors on most of these games. I think there's other problems in games that these cases won't solve, but I don't know. It's a good try.
It's worth it, right? Like it's worth experimenting at this point, where this is still very young, and the whole scheme of collecting for video games, grading and encapsulation, it's not that old. But we have to remember, in 60 years, if we're collecting all these items, will plastic around a game affect the condition of the actual item? Will the plastic, will the oils in the plastic in 70 years seep through and destroy the box if you didn't remove the plastic? Maybe, you know,
Yeah, who knows?
it will the
I
plastic
know
from the
that it's
blister.
actively. I know that the shrink wrap is actively changing the shape of TurboGrafx games.
Right.
I mean, you can see it anytime you look at a TurboGrafx game; it's getting bowed.
Yeah. It's always sucked in.
So are we a bunch of
is it
idiots
better?
actually not taking the plastic off of games? Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe. What's weird is I noticed today I was looking at the populations for CIBs. Well, I don't know if they're just not reporting it or if nobody has done it, but there's no CIBs on TurboGrafx, which is wild, right?
Yeah, you would think somebody would send in.
You'd think that somebody would sub a TurboGrafx. I mean, not the most popular system, but I mean,
I have one I could send because I got a sealed Splatterhouse sent over from Europe, and customs opened it, but they actually opened it carefully.
Oh,
so it pissed the hell out of me. But it's dead. It's dead mint. Like they carefully opened it. You know, the box, slid it out, saw there was no drugs, slid it back.
For Pete's sake, they could have just X-rayed it. Like, what are they doing?
It was a painful loss. But
yeah, I'd submit that, dude.
Yeah, I could send that for grading. And of course, if you had a magical chase, that would be.
Yeah, you should. Well, I've been kind of caught up in. Let me see if I can show you. Whoop. I've been kind of caught up in what do you grade, what don't you grade, right? Type of conversation with myself. So I've got Crusader of Senti. Okay. Not the best copy, certainly not the worst. $1,600 game. It should be graded, right? If it should be at least encapsulated in a way that it won't get damaged.
Yep.
But it's not good enough. And that's wild, right? Because if you look at grading on comic books, 2s and 3s are graded on key issues all the time. And when I look at like Crusader of Senti, what happens is a lower grade can trash the value. So I don't know if you guys saw the CIB auction from Heritage not too long ago, a couple of days ago. What was it like? It seems like they're having a new auction every second. So
it was last Thursday.
Last Thursday? Okay.
Yeah.
So that 9.0, which I strongly believe has never been played, went for less than the price of a CIB. It went for like $1,300, which is a tragedy. And honestly, that's what I'm seeing when I looked on CIB's grading, and I looked at the Genesis titles, right? Because I know of at least a few people that had Genesis games that just had bad seals because Genesis has worse seals than, it's like Genesis, Saturn, long box PS1s, the seals are just not great. And I know that there's been at least a couple of people that have subbed unplayed Genesis games. Tell me how many 9.8s there are.
0.
Now there's one.
There's 198 across the board.
198 across 355 games, most of which probably got submitted as new. Bear in mind, they're all in plastic cases, and they're basically unused.
Yeah, but I think about like how a Genesis manual is going to rattle around regardless.
It could. Yeah, it could.
Plus, it's got a stack of.
But then, what does that mean? But if it's rattling around, which is a fair point, what's that mean for sealed grades? Right? Why are there a bunch more sealed?
Right?
Yeah. So, looking around, how many 10s are there for CIBs?
None.
0.
0. How many 9.8s are there on CIBs across the entire population of 7,568 games?
CIB games.
CIBs. Yep.
And
how many 9.8s?
3.
How many?
3.
10.
What about you, Matt?
I'm saying
10?
10. Yeah, 10.
There are 7.
Okay.
That means that 9.8 in every 1,100 games submitted CIB. 1 for every 1,100.
Should we crack a 9-8 game and see if we can 9-8 at CIB?
I mean, that's what, like, why not crack some 10s? They're all over on Switch. There's 37 9.6s. So that's 0.4%. So 0.004. So that's 1 out of every 250 games is a 9.6. So I don't know. What do you think about that? Like, do you think that there needs to be a change in how things are graded?
No.
No.
I think the games were meant to be played, right? Stupid as that sounds like, it's the truth. And so for me as a collector, I've always gone after mint CIBs. And it's always been a challenge finding ones that fit to my standard to keep for my collection.
It's not just a challenge. It's literally impossible to get a 10.
Impossible. Well, or it's impossible.
Wada's pictures do show a 10 of millipede CIB.
Yeah.
They've never encapsulated it.
No.
And they took pictures and said, well, this is what it would look like. And I'm telling you, I've seen a lot of really minty games. And I don't even know if there's a component that has gotten a 10. Are you guys aware of a component that has gotten a 10?
I don't think so.
Right.
I love the fact that it's that challenging. Because
right?
I think if you make it easier, it takes away that challenge of it. I mean, we know it's been open, so obviously, fingerprints have touched it. How could that ever 10 anyway? I love the idea of that it's more challenging and that it's harder. I expect a 9.6 to be near impossible on its own. That amazes the crap out of me that anything can have had the cellophane off of it, or maybe even never had cellophane. And 9.6, that's absurd. 40 years later, 30 years later, whatever it is. That's insane. And I love the fact that it's challenging. And so when you do get that 9.6, you feel like you won the jackpot, and it's celebrated.
There's 14 9.6s on NES across 5,200 games, and there's 10 SNES across 895.
14 9.6s?
14 9.6s on NES. Yep.
Got that
one? Nice.
I got that one.
You got 2 out of them.
What do you?
Well, then there's a cool dozen left that you can go after.
I used to have probably 7 of those, honestly, and they were like some of the very first games I graded, and I wondered why they didn't 9.8 them. So
yeah, I mean,
they were perfect. Like they were like my old copies that I had for years that were just mint, and I'm like, nicest copies I have. Gonna test them with Wada. They 9.6. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with these games? But yeah, I don't know. I think it's such a challenge. It's what's always kept collecting fun for me and what's made it justifiable to sell things. I'm like, doesn't fit my collection.
I'll find something better. Yeah,
right. And if I don't do that, then I get sick of collecting. Then I just have like too much shit.
How did
go
you
ahead.
Feel about the CIB auction? I loved it, and great. Get the grant, Dylan. I'm just saying Dylan. Forget Greg.
Yeah, say Dylan. Yeah,
Dylan. Watching the end of his podcast, he made a great point. The lowest sale in that was like 100 and something. So it was like what sealed sales used to be. I think people honestly right now are hotter on CIB than they are sealed. To be honest,
of course, it's a collector item, right?
Yeah.
Sealed was never a collectible until Dan Maresca made it something that people did. Let's be honest. Bronte was going for a full sealed NES set, and Rare Bucky's out there buying sealed games. Those are the 2 dudes doing it. Nobody's doing sealed games before that. Can you name someone else?
There's not. Look, unless you're, a lot of this, is all of the I don't know. The cynic in me says that a lot of the sealed game market is run by dealers that are getting rid of new old stock. They're just, unloading, or they'll unload their second and third print, Switch games or whatever. And so all of the excitement is just dealers sending in the modern stuff to hopefully goose their margins a little bit. And that's just me being cynical, but
the cynic in you says that, Chris.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I'd prefer to see the CIBs kind of take off, because first off, there's going to be a boatload more supply. Second off, those are the items that people are actually emotionally attached to. Like these are items from people's real collection. I think CIB is a good destination for graded items, and I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that there hasn't been a lot of submissions, because you're almost always going to be told that your stuff isn't good enough.
Yeah,
so I don't know what you do about that, because it isn't good enough.
It's a fine line, right? I think the average collection, if I've bought out a bunch of collections, Matt's bought a bunch with me as well. The average condition on any of those collections we've got, or I've got, it's a 6.0. Let's be real. Like,
yep, 100%
across the board. You get some nice stuff. Maybe you find a couple sealed games. You get some dog shit in the middle. It's a little better than average. So people collected in the past, and still to this day, set collecting, get them all, got that game, it's off the list, move on.
Yep.
Don't have to think about the manual in my copy of Sesame Street.
Yes, I have checked the box.
Yeah, I don't care that it's a 6.0 manual.
Right.
I have it. Right. So nobody's really had an eye to it. And if those people are out there that have, that's very small. 1 out of 10,000 people. So I'm just throwing a number out there. But I genuinely believe that there's a lot of room as well, Chris, for CIB in the graded market, in the encapsulated certified market, that people just haven't fully realized. And it took time for comics, for certification in comics to take hold. It's going to take time in video games, and there's going to be YouTube videos. There's going to be naysayers. There's going to be people that bitch about any certification company that puts something in a holder because you can't play it anymore. But you proved that you can play the stuff on your old hardware. And
there's new hardware being created all the time, and that's
old men
important
with
too.
jazz records, right? That's it.
Yeah.
We like to collect stuff. We like to look at things that have different versions, and that's okay. So
it's interesting to see, that one of the things that I, when I was going for the set, I didn't pay attention to variants. There's lots of variants out there. There's some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
I'll tell you some interesting things that I've noticed about sealed collecting versus CIB. And the first is, don't buy a 10. Don't buy a sealed 10. Because it's not a 10. It's not a 10.
The 9.8.
Look, you know what? We could have a discussion. This is a good discussion. Is shrink wrap an important part of a game?
Do you want my honest?
Some people will say CIB isn't a CIB unless you include all the game specific inserts. Well, you're missing this shrink wrap, maybe. Or what about the baggie inside of a NES game?
Man, the anal part of me wants the insert.
Baggie.
I want the baggie.
Right?
Yeah.
So maybe there is a world where you can say the only way that you could realistically get a 10 is if it's sealed. I mean, there is a world where a collector might say that.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm not going to go for a 10. That's not going to be my objective. If I happen to get a 10, cool. But I'm not going to hunt down the 10s because inside that case is not a 10.
Yeah.
At least the math right now shows that it's not a 10.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So-
It's not a 10.
Should I send in my extra copy of Batman on 360 that I got 4 10s? Sold one, gave one away,
And tell them
keeping
to
one-
open it.
and tell him to open it and see if it gets a 10 all the way through.
But it won't, because the manual will be.
I don't know if that game came with a manual, honestly. It's a telltale.
And the person putting, or even the machine putting the disc in, I mean, just the movement of the disc clamping down is leaving little marks on the. It's. I don't think it's.
It's not a 10.
I'm going to send it in, Chris. Have him crack it there and say, take the plastic off. Let's grade this as a CIB, and let's see if it's going to 10. And if not, you guys better introduce 9.9 to your goddamn scale.
I mean, I mean, statistically, it's at least a third more difficult to get, because instead of grading 2 components, shrink wrap and box, you're grading 3 components. So, statistically, it's probably harder, just in general to get a CIB 10. But to me, I think that I don't know, it says something about the grading scale. Like maybe. I'm not saying be more gentle on it, but maybe we need to make sure that people understand that CIB is not sealed and they play by different rules.
And maybe,
so the other big lesson that I have, here.
Let me just back up there real quick. Maybe the grading company should use the whole damn scale if they have all the numbers.
Yeah, I mean,
right? Like, why is my 9.8 a 9.8 or my 9.9 a 9.9? Get rid of. I think 9.9 is dumb. At CGC, I do not like it, but not for me. But utilize the whole scale. Let's do it. PSA did it with cards.
My issue with CGC is that they're a young company and they haven't had a chance to publish all their standards. They haven't had a chance. They have written standards, but they don't have pictorial standards. They don't have things like the population reports, which I think are critical. But it's a function of age, dude. It's a function of age. Like how often they use the 9.9. Like, let's see if they can justify it. Like it's so infrequent now that calling it stupid now might not make sense. I don't know. But I did want to show you another lesson. Why not
have a 9.5 and a 9.7 if we're going to do this 9.9 bullshit?
Yeah, I do like the 9.5. Yeah.
Like if I got a 9.4 and it's not quite a
9.6, there's a company that has a scale. I can't remember who they are. They do a 9.5, but they call it like a 95 or a 95 plus. They have these, I don't know. It's
video game graders.
Scale. It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Player one, video game graders. Yeah. Okay.
So this is my Jackal that I got at auction. This is an 8.5 A plus.
I like that.
And by the way, this is where you're gonna win. So low-ish grade sealed is better than higher grade CIB. And the reason for that is because you know what the box grade is, and you can make some assumptions about the manual and about the cartridge. The cartridge has never been used. It is likely that the cartridge would be between a 9.4 and a 9.6, and it is likely that the manual will be between a 9.4 and a 9.6. So if box grade is half the grade, then this is not an 8.5. This is a 9 CIB. So if what you want is high grade CIB, or if what you're after is that, then there is a good argument to be made to go after mid grade sealed,
or all the ripped sealed games,
or all the ripped sealed. So here's another example. Allow me to pimp out this. I actually don't know what I'm going to do with this one. So this is my copy of Heavy Nova.
Oh, you're going to open it on this show today is what you're going to do.
Oh God. My wife wants me to open it, but like once you open it, that's it. So this one is being held together with tape. Do you see that?
Open it, Chris.
Yeah, that's yeah.
We need it for
held
historical
together by tape.
documentation.
I didn't
purposes.
tape this seal is like unrecoverable. And interestingly, too, this one has like a little bit. It's not perfect there, but this is Heavy Nova. This is brand new. The outer case is going to be perfect. It's going to grade really well.
So do you set it in and do you take an NS or do you go?
No, you open that sucker, man.
No, from the mathematics, like if you want to look at this just as like a mathematical exercise, you do not open it.
Nope, you're right.
If you want to look at it just cold hard facts, you don't open it. You never open it.
Huh.
And then this is another one. This is a copy of Super Thunderblade, which I think it looks lovely. It's got a little bit of an issue there. I'm going to probably throw this one on eBay. And then
it's a nice copy, man.
It's a fairly decent copy. So I ended up getting.
Sure, you don't want a 9.6 Super Thunderblade CIB? There it is.
Well, it could be. I'd have to replace the artwork, I think, but I think it's probably an 8 or a 9 on the WATA scale, and then I believe that CGC treats fading a little bit harder, but I don't know what their issue is on damage. I just haven't learned their scale yet. I can tell you, I have strong opinions about different kinds of damage and what's acceptable and what's not. When we talk about CIBs and what people need out of a CIB, I think that something like that is perfectly acceptable. Whereas water damage or moisture damage, I think is completely unacceptable because it will impact the internal components.
Yes, it will.
So there's that. And I think mold is unacceptable and should be penalized to the nines. Like it should be completely penalized. It shouldn't be sent in. I wanted to show you guys something special. As far as I'm aware, this is the only sealed copy of Bouncers in existence. Are you guys aware of any?
No, I'm not aware of any Bouncers that are sealed.
I don't know any.
Now, do you think Bouncers sucks? It probably sucks. But I could not believe
I've
that
never
I
played
found
Bouncers.
Never played it.
Bouncers is actually a pretty fun game. It's a 2D like 2-player. You're bouncing yourself into baskets. This has tape around it. I think I'm going to make the effort to get rid of the tape, get rid of the price tag, and then I think I'm going to send that in.
Huh.
But yeah, I don't know why I just showed you the Bouncers. I just think it's really cool.
Hey, Chris, I'll do a deal with you here.
Oh, really?
You open the Heavy Nova on here. I'll open a copy of Bob on Genesis on here today.
Bob. Oh man, I don't have Bob.
I got one that's sealed. That's jacked up. That would be a nice.
Is it jacked up? How jacked up is it? Where is it?
Give me 2 minutes. I'll run and grab it. Okay.
All right. Cool.
He loves opening sealed games.
All right, Matt. He's gone. Let's talk about G.I. Joe.
Oh, sweet. Good time. Actually, yeah, bring it up. That's even better.
All right. So check this out. I'll show you some G.I. Joe stuff. So I don't know if you're aware of this, but they came out with the new Classified series. Have you seen the new Classified series?
A couple of years, but I don't. How soon did they come out with a Classified series?
Well, this particular one just came out, but it's like 2 years now.
Okay, you had to sign up and be on the special club to get like first rights to them, right?
Yeah, probably. You can pick them up in stores now, though.
But
they have all the characters look like the same as they did when we were a kid, except they're in like 6-inch version.
Yeah,
and then they have the ability to be fully posable and stuff. Like this guy, this is called scrap iron, and he came with a little version of this. I wish my lighting was a little bit better.
Yeah, the rocket launch. I remember the OG.
Yep, the OG one had like a rocket launcher. So those are pretty cool. They've been doing they've been doing that. So Hasbro has a problem with getting stuff shipped to stores. But they've been doing a pretty good job with pre-order stuff. See, now we're not focused. Focus. There we go. And then this is another thing that I think is pretty cool that came out pretty recently. They've been throwing Transformers and G.I. Joes together.
What?
Dude, it's rad.
What?
It's completely rad. Yeah, dude. So this is a Hiss tank with Baroness.
What?
A Megatron Hiss tank.
Where did you get that? I got a bite.
So that I think is pretty killer. Here's what it looks like when it's transformed into the Hiss tank.
Why are they putting Baroness with that?
I don't know. They should have put the Hiss tank driver.
Yeah,
but what they did is they took the old cards. They made O-ring figures again. So I think that's pretty cool.
Nice.
And then this actually transforms into
Megatron.
So that's pretty cool, right?
That's cool.
Yeah. I think that's pretty dope. So I've been I came back from one of the MGCs. That's Midwest Gaming Classics, with like more money than I could have ever possibly imagined. Like I came back with like the most video game money I've ever had. So the first thing I did, of course, is I was like, oh, well, I want to go and buy all the G.I. Joes I had, which turned into like half of my room is full of G.I. Joes now. It's ridiculous. All right, Josh, let me see this Bob. I'm not sure if we should open Bob. I don't have Bob. It's going to be a crying shame to me.
Want to spotlight you, Josh?
It is. I mean, that's a C+ seal. No, actually, there's no shrink wrap actually missing.
That's true. You might not get a C with that. You might get C+.
I can take some off here. Hold on a second. No, it's missing a huge chunk right here.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It might be a C.
This is a F-. So I think we should open this.
You can open Bob. I don't think that I'm opening Heavy Nova.
Come on, let's do it.
Oh, come on. You're going to kill me, man. You're going to kill me.
You'd rather have a 9.6C Heavy Nova versus
here's the secret.
Potential 9.8.
Here's the secret. I'm showing you Heavy Nova, but I've got a Truxton exactly like it. And if I open Heavy Nova, I'm going to be really tempted to open Truxton.
Well, then that's okay because I got a Madden 95 we can open as well. So
there you go. Let's open Madden 95.
And then I got a B seal.
I don't think that Power Rangers is all that common.
I'll open it. I like mint CIB, so I'll open. Okay, come on, dude. Let's do Heavy Nova. I'll open it. Let's see.
No pressure.
All right.
You don't have to open it, Chris.
You're making me sad.
You want this? Or are we gonna open this? This thing's ugly.
Let me see. I do not have.
This thing is not nice.
I did not have Madden 95.
It kind of drives me insane having it sitting around.
I like how Chris has two cameras where he can flip back and forth.
I know. I like that.
We're not even that advanced, and we've been doing this for how many years?
All right, we don't have to open any sealed games. I'll wait for another guest that wants to open sealed games, Chris. No problem. So
let me think about it.
Okay, we can do it on the next episode.
Sealed games.
Yeah.
I get there's two things. One is I do get a little nostalgic for that opening. Yeah, it's pretty tempting. But I think I'm going to hold on to it for a minute.
Yeah,
It's
hold
okay.
on.
You're gonna open it and it's gonna have rusted staples inside.
Oh God! Oh God! Gouge my eyes out. Oh, see, that's yeah. That's
No,
this
I've opened Genesis games and I'm like,
Schrodinger's
damn it.
manual, dude.
yeah. I swear I find more rusted staples in Genesis manuals than any goddamn system, man.
You know, half of the comments are going to be, "Why didn't you open Heavy Nova?"
Yeah. Hey,
But
Bob is a good counterpart to open it. It's a rare sealed game.
yeah,
But-
that's just it. I have Heavy Nova because I sealed still because I think there's one.
Yeah, that's rare.
Let me look.
I think there's one.
Let me look.
Yeah, look it up for me, Matt. I appreciate that.
People are gonna look back in 20 years when we open these and be like, "Why'd you open that?"
Yeah, that could be like the guy that opened the Popeye on. You remember that?
He opened a Stinger.
Oh, that just makes me.
Oh God,
Stinger. I think there was a Panic restaurant that was opened.
My God.
There's a 9.6 B plus Heavy Nova, and that's it. One sealed.
What was
so there's a B plus.
Yeah.
There's a B plus. I'm not missing any shrink. It's just like straining, like it's bursting out. But
so then maybe you should open it and
not
go
missing shrink.
Go for the 9.8 CIB. Let's do it.
I mean,
keep it sealed.
Yeah, I might do that. I don't know. We'll come back to it.
I'll think about it.
You guys got to tell me. You guys got to tell me what your latest pickups are.
Okay.
Oh,
Matt, what you get?
I have a million of them.
Okay. I got a few.
All right.
Mine are uneventful.
Okay. Well, let's do it then, Matt.
And I'm going to appeal to a different crowd because, I love these, and I think I've showed this before, but there's nothing like finding a sealed game that has the sticker.
Yes, so it has a sticker on it. Yes, I think that's cool.
Don't overlook that because this is the original copy. They just slapped the damn sticker on there. If you
but keep the sticker.
Remove it off.
No, don't take it off.
Don't take it.
No. I collect those as a subset.
I wonder, would they grade that as a first print? How would that come out of grading?
Yeah, they'll grade it as a first print, but they'll note that it has a sticker.
Man. Oh man.
This some people are going to hate me for this, but I don't care because we like VHS too.
I don't really.
I'm crossing like all generations, so
I have a VHS that I want to show you. You got to show you show me the VHS you have, and then I'll show you the one that I just got.
This is crossing other boundaries because I found an old professional paintball player who was selling a lot of his stuff, and so he had a lot of sealed old VHS paintball tape.
Trauma head.
Like this is one of the greatest paintball movies or shows, VHS all time, but this is the store copy promo.
Dude, that's red.
That's still sealed.
Wow.
Just a couple more, and then there's
well, that's kind of a funny story because that means that promo copy failed to promo anything.
That's true. Well, I think it came from one of the dealers, but and then a very old. We're getting a clamshell paintball. Oh,
I love those old clamshells.
Very original paintball. I think Brian.
That's cool. That's really cool. I dig that.
Yeah, some people buy skateboarding tapes. Matt buys paintball tapes.
So this is my VHS pickup. I picked this up, I think, a week or two ago.
I like that.
Nice.
That's the Lunchables Sega Game Tips VHS.
That's really cool.
Lunchables.
And it's really bad. And
did you watch it?
Oh yeah. Oh, I watched every second of it. I was under the impression that I could do a decent recording of a CRT, but you can't. Dude, it's ridiculous.
You need a capture card.
It says, get ready to be blown away. Get ready to be blown away.
You were not blown away.
You're going to be blowing chunks from that Lunchable lunch.
And then my movie pickups, here we go.
Iron Maiden.
Nice.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to pick up some Iron Maiden.
Dan Gomez is going to appreciate this episode.
Yeah. And then my boy got me this. This was a while ago.
Nice. I have mine on my DVD shelf and I watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, dig it. Dig it.
That is awesome.
Yeah, those Iron Maiden DVDs are actually pretty decent. Good tunes.
Is that it? What else you got? You got more, right?
Me?
Chris?
Yeah, you, right? Were you talking to Matt?
No, you got more, right, Chris?
Oh yeah, dude. I've got some ridiculous.
Chris is
yeah, hold on. Let's fire this up.
Or do you go, or I can. Up to you.
Yeah,
all right.
Show the camera.
Well,
I'm
here's
put in the spotlight here. There you go.
So this is another one from that field collection. This is going to complete my Thunder Force collection. And I'm not going to have a good time. But this is a raw copy of Thunder Force 2. Eventually. Boy, I really should have unwrapped this before I did the show here. But
take your time.
Yeah. So this has a similar issue. It's damn near flawless, but the color isn't as bright as it should be on the spine, but I'm still submitting it.
That's tough stuff, dude.
Yeah, it's and the seal is very, very, very good on that. So I couldn't be happier. That completes my Thunder Force collection. Well, kind of. I don't have 6, but I've got 5. So there's that. And Thunder Force, one of my all-time favorites. I got this. This is another one of my all-time favorites. And I'm a little paranoid about my stuff, so you can see.
I'm the same way.
I have a bunch of different stories about 1943, but this is my copy of 1943 now.
Nice.
And 1943 is when I was a younger man, I could sing, and I was sent to like a music camp of all things. And me and my buddies there, we played 1943 in the arcade until our quarters ran out. And immediately after that, I bought 1943 on NES, and it's completely different. But it has, well, not completely different, but it has a leveling up mechanic, which is really cool.
It's way better than 1942 on NES.
It's way better than 1942. But anyway, it ended up being one of my favorite NES games. I've got several favorite NES games, but here's a favorite. I played
a lot of that too, Chris. I love that game.
Here's a favorite that's probably more common on Genesis than it is
on this. Yeah.
Yeah, but that one, I think that one, I was really, really happy with the condition of that one. So I can't wait to get that one submitted.
Yeah, the clamshell on that's real tough to find.
The clamshell is going to be, because there's only even with the paper copies, there's not many.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. The Majesco, you can find that one, right? But you can't find those clams on that game.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Cyberball.
Cyberball, and this one is a very, very nice copy. I got to get rid of some sticker gunk. There's minor pullback on the seal, but I was really happy to win that. And
looks like we need to open it.
Yeah, right.
That was enough to open.
So that one is cool. I got that. I showed you Jackal. That was a recent win. And I got a submission back. The submission, these are actually, I picked these up a long time ago, but 9.88 plus.
Spike out.
I love the small game cases on both of the grading companies. The small game cases are just awesome. Darius Burst is a nice one. White Trash Super Punch Out. This is cool because the first boss throws a raccoon at you. and you fight a Snoop Dogg looking dude.
This game is straight trash, but people actually really like this game.
Oh yeah, yes. So it's White Trash Super Punch Out. It is it's balls hard. It's ridiculously difficult. And I don't know, I like it. This was a purchase off of one of the members of the group. 9.88 plus plus. Pocket Fighter is awesome. It's around. You can find it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can find it in that good a condition as easily, but it's around. You can find it, and I love it, and so I'm happy to have it. And then, I got Whip Rush down here and Subterranea down here. I can't really get to those. I got to show that off again. Favorite. And then this is in the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, I got to tell you, I've been spending money like water over the last, I don't know. God, it has to be like the last month. And, the reason is, people are coughing up their collections. So, I bought a large collection, and I bought 2 smaller collections, and then I bought the high-end games from another guy. So now I've got to sell everything.
And so when you say collection, are you buying Genesis stuff? Is it a mix of Nintendo, Super Nintendo? Like,
it's a mix. The collection that I got most recently is like a lot of common stuff that I know people want, like Game Boy Micro, some of the really key titles on GameCube, from Mario and all the Zeldas to but it's stuff that people want, and the guy needed out, and I said, okay, I'll do it.
are you going to fill your collection holes with the rest of the stuff? Is that, the old school kind of collector?
Yeah. Yep. So I got from these kind of collections, I just picked up Shining Force 3 CIB on Saturn. I also picked up another Saturn title. I picked up Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga CIB, but just, I don't know, kind of a ridiculous amount over the past month. But a lot of it has to, I filtered it through me, and now the rest of it's gotta go. That's the way I play the game. I gotta sell.
Yep.
I think if a lot of collectors did it that way, they'd be very happy, instead of getting to a point where they are like, fuck it, I need to sell it all.
Yeah.
That's where people get, because they don't know the grind of, you got to add stuff to your collection by selling stuff. That's a big part of it. Yeah. I've always done it. Matt's always done it. Yep. It's totally fine to do. If you want to sell all your stuff, it's your stuff. Do what you want with it. Don't let other people influence your decision or care what they think, honestly. So.
Yeah, it's kind of goofy, like I don't need to do it the way that I do it, but then I don't have to stress about, oh, do I really, really want this? So
yeah.
But and to me, I wanted to try my hand at selling, by and large, because it's not a skill set that I've come across in programming. Programmers aren't sellers, so it's been an education, into a skill set that I haven't tried to have. So that's nice, and I've learned all sorts of different stuff. Yeah. Anyway,
Oh,
So yeah, that's what I've gotten.
Yeah, I think it's a fine line though, Chris. Like you being a collector and a dealer at the same time is very hard because you end up justifying why you should keep everything. Right. Like I do all the time. I'm like, I should keep these PS1 games with cracks in the cases because I could replace this with an identical crack from a cheap game and I have a
Right.
even though
Right.
it's like I don't need that shit, but I do because I justified why. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Dealer collectors.
with all the different ways to play the games, like there are a bunch of different times where I've said, well, I should just sell it all.
Too, man.
Honestly, I think it goes through everybody's head. Like, do I want to be 80 and be trapped trying to sell or give away this stuff? I don't know. Maybe.
No, but what you should do, you shouldn't ever be at that point in your life where you're like, if you get to that point, you just need to get rid of it, right? I genuinely believe that. But I think if as collectors, I think it's our responsibility to not burden it. Say, for instance, one of us just ups and dies. Our family's gonna have to deal with this shit, and a good chance mine's gonna be end up at a garage sale in the front yard. So but we need to have a plan for this stuff. We get older, it's inevitable. We need a plan. People need a plan in place for their lives afterwards. What happens with their collections? My kids aren't going to want this stuff.
This isn't curating. This is me having fun.
Right. Me too.
Like
it's the discovery. It's how my mind works. It's how I wrap my head around things and what I enjoy. I get to that point where I'm like, I'm going to sell it all, but then I start looking at it and I organize it. I'm having fun. Like I genuinely enjoy it. And I think that, yeah, you go back to the point, is a sealed game, is that part of a truly CIB copy? 90% of the time it's no, but 10% of the time it's yes, because some of those sealed games have a sticker on the front of the game that you wouldn't know that existed with a sticker on it on the outside of the wrap.
Yep.
And why that variant exists without that sticker. I was looking last night. There's a Yogi Bear game for the stupid Nintendo Wii that has a sticker on the outside that says get $10 off movie concession stuff. You don't get that without the plastic on the game. Is that a 100% CIB at that point?
That's fair.
Those are good questions. Maybe we're just crazy, but that's okay.
We probably are. It's probably fair to say.
Yeah, I got some stuff. I picked up this. I didn't know it was faded, so I'm like, I should have looked at the pictures closer, but I kind of just want to keep it, and I'm not going to return it because I don't do that.
That's cool
for The Simpsons. There's 2 different versions of this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. And there was no sealed comps that I could find, so it was $40, but it's faded.
Oh, that's awesome.
I do like Simpsons video games, so I'm just going to keep it. Picked up a copy of Victor Vron Overkill Edition for PS4 that has the...
What is that? Tell me all about that. What the heck is that?
I haven't got into it yet. So, but it's got Motorhead DLC included.
Whoa.
So it's got Lemmy of the Motorhead. Then check it out. It's got like full motion, well, not full motion video, but it's got like characters built into it. Lloyd Kaufman is in this video game. His voice acting, the guy that did the Toxic Avenger, created Trauma. He's part of this game. So I read about it. I'm like, I'm going to pick one up. Got 2 actually. I'm going to open one. It was $10 on eBay. I'm going to play it, try it out.
Like a no-brainer.
Yeah, it just seems awesome to me. It's about a guy that goes and kills demons. So seems interesting. Picked up another copy of Castlevania that was really mint CIB.
Oh, I like that. Is that oval? Yeah, okay.
Yep. My plan was to
really
grade
nice
sell
box.
It. Yeah, my plan was to grade and sell, but because I have a nice one, but the date codes on the flaps are different, so now I'm just going to keep it.
Yeah, and I got to keep both.
I'm an idiot. I picked up something that nobody's looking at.
Hey, did the grading companies put any of the... Do you know if the grading companies put any of the date codes on on the label anywhere?
I don't think they do, but I think they should.
They should, right?
Yeah, on the CIB, 100%. This is Beckett Pokemon Collector, the first issue of Beckett Pokemon.
What is that Pikachu? He looks like a marshmallow. What is going on?
Check it out, right? So it's issue 1, volume 1, issue 1, September 99. So, you know, Beckett had sports card stuff. They released a magazine for collecting Pokemon cards. And this is the first one. There's a whole bunch of them, but finding a nice one is very tough. I don't think anybody's graded this yet, so I'm going to send it in, grade it, and auction it because I'm just going to take a gamble on it.
It's a Pokemon.
I think it's interesting.
It doesn't matter. Right? It's a Pokemon. It'll do something.
And it's the first issue of Beckett Pokemon. And then I picked up these at Goodwill. They are Hollywood Video slips, so I always buy these.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have a Gradius 3 like that.
Yeah. Well,
and I swear to you, I can't find the real one.
Yeah, yellow sticker was 75% off, so that's why I justified buying these. There's no way I'm paying $10 on that. I'll pay $250. So
yeah, $250 is a bit.
Yeah, and Battlefront, and they have the games inside, so I'll probably take them out, eBay them. But yeah, that's it. Really, nothing else.
Sweet.
That's cool.
I think that's it for today, right? What else we got?
Yeah, I mean, Dan Kaplan was going to join us.
That bastard.
Yeah. But he couldn't make it, unfortunately. Yeah, because he's waiting for the Halo 4 market to rebound right now.
All right. Well, you know, I'm not sure how long he's planning on waiting, but
we got $71 last time. Matt, I'm so disappointed in you right now.
What happened?
You went this whole episode without mentioning Halo, and I was going to send you something so nice.
Oh my God! Wait, hold on. I've got a Halo story. How about a Halo story?
Wait, okay, you can. But we almost went this whole episode without mentioning Halo, and that would have been a very first for our podcast.
That's not happening.
And we literally got to the end, and I
cannot believe it.
I had Farrell's ice cream drum chimed up, ready to go. I was going to play an announcement and give Matt a video game for not mentioning Halo at all. And he goes and screws it up with the Dan Kaplan. I'm so disappointed right now. You don't even know. Like, we got almost 2 hours without mention of Halo, and now you did it.
Yeah, and I literally wrote down that I have a Halo story.
Okay, let's hear the Halo story.
I have to hear it.
Unreal. So my Halo story is very simple, very quick. But in 2004, I went to E3, and another one where I wasn't expecting to be able to, but Microsoft had Halo 2 multiplayer available to play by appointment.
Wow.
So I was one of the first people to be able to play Halo 2 at E3 in multiplayer.
Wow.
Yep.
And what was your first impression though when you played it? Like what?
I loved it. And I got out of the place, and I called my brother like immediately. I can't remember what year it was, but I called him immediately. I'm like, holy cow, you won't believe this. So we played that, and I played Halo 3 as well when it came out, before it came out. Anyway, Halo. It's good.
Sorry, Josh.
Halo Infinite is not good.
Halo Infinite not good?
Help.
Is it not good?
We could
it's kind of competent, but they moved way too slow in introducing new maps. A lot of people lost interest right away. The grinding mechanics, because they made it free to play, they made the grind way too slow for new like armor pieces and stuff like that. And then they basically went like a year without releasing maps, and all the promised features like Halo Forge. It wasn't in the original release, so they couldn't at least rely on community to release maps. And I don't know though, but 343, what they do is they stick to it forever until they give you a product that's worth playing. Like Master Chief Collection was garbage when it was released. It was virtually unplayable in multiplayer. And now it's one of the best collections on the system. It's amazing.
So is Halo as an IP, it just continues to go down the toilet, right? Is it going to go the way of Castlevania, where it's such an amazing franchise and then just shits the bed for the rest of time?
No. I don't know. People would have argued that about Call of Duty, but like this year's Call of Duty is awesome. Last year's year before Cold War, that was really well received. Vanguard was piss poor.
Well,
World War II was kind of piss poor, but like Call of Duty has bad seasons. And I think that Halo as an IP can weather stuff like that. Just like Call of Duty does, just like Madden does, just like, it's software as a service now, buddy. We don't just pick up a game. That's not what you do. Nope. No. You plug in and you never unplug.
They're not
World
making Mario Kart 9.
Yeah. Steroids.
Right. Mario Kart 9 isn't a thing. It's just going to always be Mario Kart 8 for the rest of time. Right? So.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought Destiny was going to be new Halo.
That's what,
because it was made by Bungie,
but it's still very good. Like,
close.
Yeah. In Destiny 1, I'm not kidding. Like, I sell modern shit on eBay all the time. I don't have any sealed copies of it. I've sold them all, and I got peanuts for them, like $11.99, $10, right? Whatever. Right. Now I get people messaging me on my multi-listing thing, and they're like, "Do you have any sealed copies of Destiny?" I'm like, "Sold them all because they were garbage. They weren't worth it." So, nope. People want
Destiny 2 is the same, and like that. I still know people that are playing Destiny 2. I think. What's the one that Titanfall turned into?
What did it turn into?
Apex Legends. That's another one. That's another one that's just going to go forever and ever and ever. That's the way that they do games now, man.
Minecraft is never going to need another Minecraft. It's just Minecraft with updates.
Yeah, but that has like the community stuff built into it, right? Like, either you do a franchise where you release something every year now, or you do like most of Nintendo's properties, or you do something like like an MMO type of structure, right? Mm-hmm. Or you have communities around it that just mod it, like Skyrim. Is there ever going to be another Skyrim? Do we need another Skyrim?
No.
They can move on to Starfield because the community is taking over for Skyrim. Dang it!
Well, Grand Theft Auto. What happens with 6? I mean, 5 just dominated forever. So are they going to
that game came out in 2013, right?
Yeah. Like
that's ridiculous.
Or summer of 2013. I sat around and played it before my daughter was born. I remember we moved back from Portland and I played GTA 5 for hours before I had a kid, for my first kid. So 2013, you're 100% right. That game is so good. But like with them making GTA 6 and just saying, see you later, GTA 5, that's going to do well. It's going to be fine.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, there's no chance that it does poorly.
No.
I mean, they'd have to really
they'd have to make GTA 4. I
don't want to jinx it, but
they'd have to make GTA 4 and then the shit can it and then come out with GTA 7. So, or 6. 7. Yeah, 7. So.
Yeah, but by the time GTA 4 came out, people weren't very happy with GTA 4. And then GTA 5, it was. And then what? Oh, is GTA done? No. They released 5 and 10 years later we're still playing it.
Yeah, but
I mean,
okay.
stuff
I
like
mean,
that happens in games.
that was the era though, where 2013, that's the turnover era where you're just continuing to update the game, right?
Yeah.
Before that,
Yep.
you didn't really do that. GTA 4 gets a lot of crap, but it's as a game,
It's decent.
It's decent, yeah. And
It's decent.
You get the cool add-ons. Was a Ballad of Gay Tony's pretty cool, and
yeah. There were a lot of cool games that came out around that time, like the all of the Arkham Asylum, all of those games, and the free roaming Sleeping Dogs that came out around that time. And then like the other one was what's the one that Volition did? The GTA clone, Saints Row.
Saints Row.
Mm-hmm. So then Saints Row 3 was,
Saints Row's been successful too.
Good. And it's good. I mean, they kind of fell off a little bit too, but that game was insane. So is there hope for Halo? It's eternal.
Yeah.
Is that the name of the next one?
I mean,
probably
Halo Eternal.
And
they just got to get more and more. They can't put a number behind it anymore. Oh, it's Halo awesome.
You got to think the hardcore Halo players are playing Master Chief Collection. So it's technically still living on, from 2003 on. I mean, it's never died. So,
Chris, you say it has to be like not a number. That's why they called it Halo Infinite, so they didn't have to name it.
Yeah, so they didn't have to give it numbers. Yeah,
it'll infinitely be bad.
Yeah, Halo never updated. That's the
Well, thank you for coming on. How about you make us a promise? If you ever open that Genesis game, you'll do a video on it.
No, you're coming.
I'll come back on or something.
I'm coming back on.
I'll come back on.
I'll say Bob until then.
Yeah, come back on and let's throw those up and let people experience that. If that ever.
I think that's fun stuff.
Literally yesterday, my wife was telling me, "Why do you have that? You should probably open it." But I don't know. Rarity still means something to me, I guess. Like,
yeah,
somebody needs to. If somebody can pop a case pack of that, then I'll open that.
I would open a lot of games if somebody could do a case pack. Fine case.
If somebody found a case pack of any one of these games, I'd probably, it's not going to be gradable.
All of our rare sealed games are one case pack find away from being not a rare video game, right?
Yeah,
like one
probably
find away.
Yeah.
Unless it's just one case, because like NES games came in what?
Yeah, sure, not one case. Okay, let's say 50, 75 copies come out of
that's
Bubble Bobble 2. I'm done.
So I
should have sold that months ago.
It's like, no, stonks.
Yeah.
I mean, I have enough copies of Space Harrier 2 that I double the population. So
really?
Yep. I've got 3 copies of sealed Space Harrier 2.
I used to have
I'll tell you that because that game doesn't sell for a lot, even though it's rare. It's super rare.
You got any 9.8s in there? I'll take a 9.8.
Nope.
Oh, man.
Nope. That's why they're not encased. It's but I'll probably do that. I'll probably do at least one copy of each of these for me. Just for me.
I think that's smart. I know we got to go, but the one thing with the new WADA holder, I know you're doing CGC, a lot of CGC stuff.
I love WADA. I love WADA. I love CGC, and I love VGA. I think all of these companies are doing great.
But the Genesis holder for the new WADA holder, I'm not a fan. It's too tall.
If I do it, it's going to be in the legacy holders.
I got it. These 2 games I got back in the Mystic Defender that should be a 9.8, that's a 9.6. They just don't fit right.
No,
it's not it. I don't know why they just didn't make the NES holder just a little taller to get the goddamn Genesis games in it.
Well, they should have done what
they're too tall.
GC did, and instead of using a PlayStation long box case, they should have used their DVD case, but they made their DVD case so narrow because like if you look at the CGC case for it, and I'm gonna drop all my stuff everywhere. But if you look at this is the DVD case, and there's the Genesis case. It is the same case. Right. I mean, their answer is right there.
But the thing is also they need to make another case to fit some of these thick PS2 games, like Dragon's Quest 7, right? Like
they've got to do it. They've got to do it anyway. They've got to do it anyway. So they should just quietly fix their stuff. Yeah. And they don't need to like issue some kind of mea culpa. They just need to get it done. Just get it done.
Right. I can't sub my Star Ocean 2 to WATA because it won't fit in anything.
Right.
Other than a tall ass Genesis case.
Yeah, and I don't like their new Genesis case at all. I think CGC did a great job with their Genesis case. But I like the Legacy WATA case just fine. It doesn't have a ton of room for the hang tab, but it does have some room for the hang tab. I'll be submitting mine with the Legacy cases. I understand the WATA scale, so I know kind of what I'm getting into with it. So that's I think for what I have left on Genesis, I think I want the Legacy case, and then my next sub is probably going to go over there. But I'm already getting a sub ready for CGC again, because some of the stuff I showed you today, the Cyberball, the 1943, some of that stuff I think makes sense to just sub them cheap and get them done, get them back, because all they're going to do is sit in my collection. I'm not selling this shit, or stuff. Sorry.
It's okay. This is an R-rated.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. But if it's for marketing it, I get it. You want to do something different, but like I don't care. This is just my stuff.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, I feel you. I do.
I do want to throw out there, Chris, you made a comment on episode 68, but deleted it. I would have liked to have sent you a t-shirt, but why don't you send me your information anyway, and we'll I did get the new black shirts in. I actually want to make an adjustment to them. They're a little bit different.
Dude, that's awesome.
They're a little bit bigger than so if you got the ash gray, the logo is going to be slightly smaller, the black's bigger. I guess that makes sense.
That's what she said.
So
oh damn. I'm sorry.
We did throw that out there. So yeah, don't worry about what you said earlier. I do have an extra large t-shirt. But there are a couple of people that haven't reached out. Marty, the one man party. I just need your info if you'd like a prize. I got my prizes ready for you. Joseph Leo, if you watch any more of these, got your t-shirt. I can just message you. And then William.
We didn't read the comments, Matt.
What? Oh,
Chris, yeah, there you go. Let's do that.
You got 10 minutes to read some comments?
Of course.
Okay. We'll do them quick.
Good call.
Shoot, we would have been in trouble reading 2 comment sections next time. All right. I shaved the mustache. It's gone.
I attempted the Josh YouTube face. Not sure how it worked out.
The mustache cracked me up, by the way.
Yeah, that's my wife told me to shave it off, so it went.
Your wife sounds wise.
Hey,
we got a lot of comments.
Oh my God, 28 comments.
Oh, okay.
What?
Let's hop right into this.
All right. Love the Tiger Woods 968 Plus pickup. That must be an upgrade for a personal collection. Congrats.
Yeah, the mashed up one. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate
that. Yeah. That was absolutely an epic video. I like that.
That's insane.
That sucked, but whatever.
Yeah.
They'll handle it, obviously. I'll go for it. Chris Glidden. Also, I love the soccer coach stash. Glad to see it back, even if it's just to empower Matt to tease Josh about it. Appreciate that, Chris.
I'll grow it back next week. So.
Big Box Game Shop says, really appreciate the game and shirt. You guys are the best. Thank you.
Yeah, man, he got a full throttle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was our first subscriber on the channel. So,
oh wow,
yeah. Well, not subscribe. Not the subscriber. He was the first to join. He was the first to
join.
Okay, gotcha.
Look at that. Okay, yeah. Anthony, our good friend Anthony down there in Florida, which really isn't part of the United States, but it is attached to us, says, with all the negative news out there, such as AI takeover and alien attacks, I'm thankful to have Josh FOMOing over a Wii U case pack of Zombie U to bring me back to center. I need those cases, man. I look at really common case pack stuff all the time to see if they are games that I could open to take the cases for mint games.
I've almost bought those cases of Slevin or whatever however you pronounce that on PS1, just knowing that they're just perfect PS1 cases. I know that it's just a CD case, but still.
You got to get the right one, man.
Yeah. Exactly. There's dots and lines. There's dots and lines.
There's dots and lines, man.
Dots and lines.
Swap anything. Cap says, Mr. Kaplan says, I want a K-Throw interview. Make it happen. Okay. Let's do it, Matt.
Okay.
I'm game. Let's bring Kenneth on here.
Yeah. We've talked to him about it in the past, but I think they were making transitions at that point. So I think it was, made sense why it didn't happen. But that was during the sale, actually, so they couldn't talk much at all. But yeah, obviously that's long gone. Chris, you want to grab another one?
All right. Kevin Gann 2154 says, looking forward to the Thursday auction. Wait, was that the Nintendo auction?
Yeah. Matt, next Wednesday we'll cover it. We'll go over it.
That auction was awesome. I love the auction.
I actually, looking at it, I wish they had I don't know, it's like a lot of the Nintendo stuff is great, but I was surprised there was only like 3 GBA games. There was like 20% of the auction was Nintendo Powers, but what they did have that wasn't magazines and stuff was awesome.
It was the best auction. I got the mock-up box for Freedom Force out of there.
Yeah,
and I want everybody to know that whatever your max bid was, mine was going to be the next bid higher. So
there you go.
Nobody was going to win that item.
Absolute steal on that, and it was mainly because, we'll talk about that on Wednesday.
We'll talk about it on Wednesday. I also got the Iron Sword 968++, which is a huge upgrade for me, and couple other things. I got another Dr. Chaos prototype and a 988++ Dr. Mario for Game Boy.
Oh,
steals.
So there's always some great Game Boy games in these auctions, and I feel like people don't understand how hard that system is. It's ridiculous. It's like Game Gear. Game Gear is impossible too.
Yeah,
I don't care about Game Gear, and I don't really care about Game Boy, but I can appreciate the fact that they're really hard to get.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Matt.
All right. Decaps again. Man, he's a pretty busy guy on here for not being able to make the show. I just got to say that. He's busy commenting. That's why I can't make it.
He finally got some Wi-Fi.
You heard it here first. Josh is giving away nice copies of Ghosts and Goblins for most comments during episode 99. Wow.
Maybe.
That's a tall ask.
I gave away a nice copy of Rad Racer. So
daytime.
Probably a 9+. 9.
All right. And is it Josh? You up?
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that Matt is wearing his swag, but why isn't Josh Lasso repping a t-shirt? Well, it's because Matt hasn't sent me one yet. So
no, I sent it. For whatever reason, they didn't. Said they were out of green.
Oh yeah, thank you.
So
light green.
They're on the back order list.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was only green. Everything else was shipped out. They didn't like green. All right, Chris.
Josh's mom says, "Get Tyler on this damn show and talk about the dentist cabal that's manipulating the market." Yeah, I mean, all these Timmy's and Poindexters need to understand that the market is being run by one man, and truly,
The dentist.
truly, only Tyler can tell us that.
Well, isn't Todd Curtis an orthodontist? But I guess it's not really a dentist. So
We can
but
pull Tyler on.
yeah. Kivar the Barbarian says we rock. You guys rock.
I've sent Kivar stuff.
You just didn't even like the Josh's mom's comment.
It's because he's going over there later and she's making him a casserole.
Yeah, it's Henry.
Yeah.
Carts and Cardboards, Brian. There was a certified link auction that ended last Friday, 8/18, with some interesting games in it.
We should cover that too, because
dude doesn't miss anything.
I watched it, but there was like one item I wanted the Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates because I have a 9.2A and I wanted a nicer copy, and I didn't make it in time to bid. So
you could probably make a full-time job out of looking at auctions.
Well, Dylan does, right?
Yeah. Yep.
It's great.
Blockbuster late fees 7713 says, dude, I won. Wow. Thank you. Cheers, man. I appreciate it.
You are more than welcome, and your stuff is already in the mail. I've got everybody who contacted me. I got everything out that day. So
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Daytime Rad Racer. Wowza, let's drop ship that CIB over to Walnut for grading. Okay. All right. Good thing I already sent it to Canada, asshole. So
did you? No, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
Hey, it's just Leo. Can I? Oh, there you go. Can I hold my prize and build up a larger prize like a carnival affair? I'm coming out.
Joe, no, because we know you just sell sealed black box NES games. So no, sorry. Joseph sent me a really cool item he picked up yesterday, but I'm not going to spoil it for anyone. So I'll.
Yeah, I do. I've got a shirt for you, man. So if you're watching this, or I can have Josh send it. Yeah.
No, I'm not going to send it to him.
It's 78,452 t-shirts saved to equal a black box game.
If you can find them.
All right, Chris.
Hey, when decaps again? When is Hopper making his podcast debut?
You know, that's funny.
Anytime Hopper wants to come on, we'll have him on.
Yeah. We need to reach out to Hopper and see when he's ready, because it's just up to him, really. I'll have Hopper on here anytime.
Timmy J says,
you could throw that out there too.
Matt's face when Josh says 100 comments, please no. Hey, we got 28 on this one in less than a week, so not bad.
That's true.
Yeah. All right. Matt, you got your your New Zealand friend here.
Long snacks.
Long snacks. I drugged those Tim Tams. That's why you're addicted. That makes sense. I got some beef drama with Heritage Auctions. Uh-oh. You're not the only one, actually, but we'll get in that later. I bought my first sealed game for about $50, shipped to New Zealand, and then a month later got charged $230 USD for shipping. Oh, snap.
Man.
Did I get scammed? How can anyone buy these cheaper games? Is Heritage a scam? Are grading games a scam? Is America a scam? Wow, that's going deep. It left a bit of sour Tim Tam taste in my mouth. Not having those loose shipping quotes in advance. Also, for these videos, I like the guests and not just general game collecting news and sales commentary. And thanks for the shirt. I'll wear it to the club with pride. Wow. I appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, and Heritage is definitely a scam. So you hit the nail on the head.
Right.
No, I think it's because you live in New Zealand. That's why you got charged an astronomical. That's $230 seems high.
Ooh, 30. I would 100% reach out to Valerie.
I would reach out to their customer service.
Yeah.
So I think that is excessive for a $50 game. I would assume they sent it FedEx priority overnight or FedEx, not priority overnight, but FedEx International Express 2 or 3 day or some shit. And maybe that's the only option they can do to New Zealand. You might talk to them if you want to buy stuff in the future. You could also use a mail forwarding company if in the US to.
I was going to suggest that.
And I would be more than happy to help you out if you need help with that. Matt would too.
Yep.
I know that. Our addresses are available to anybody, well, within reason, that would like to get some mail forwarding done on a friendly collector basis, nothing else. So,
yeah, I do that occasionally for a few people already. So,
I need a Japan guy. I don't have a Japan guy.
Neither do I. All right.
And then Josh's mom says, or get the Greg on to talk about his burgeoning stardom and how you two dolts can learn from him. Well, step 1 is to have me on the podcast.
It helps a lot.
Step 2, profit.
Back to real quick, getting more people on the show. Log Snacks, you can come on the show if you want. Like, otherwise, we're just going to talk about what's happening in video games, and you're going to have to just deal with it.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, just watch a copy of Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
Okay. I don't know.
I'm happy to have Dylan back on. The dude grinds, man. So props to him. Like
he might be too big for us, Matt. He had a 1 million view video. Okay. So
did he?
Yeah, and then N64 he had like one that hit over 1 million on the short.
Well, congrats. With the shorts, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he grinds. He's put the sweat equity in, and of course he's going to be bigger. If we put out 2 to 3 times more content, did a lot more stuff, of course we'd be bigger.
That's what she said. Josh's mom says, can't wait for comment 99 times on episode 99. Okay, I'm going to read the next one. Henry, you're commenting too much, man. What can we do? I'm just kidding. Okay, DeGreen says, rip, rest in peace, me. Lol, LOL. How is episode 68 the only one I didn't comment on?
Forever punished.
I don't know, man. That was the goal.
We tried to tell people.
Yeah, 10 Batman could have been yours, but it's not. Oh, we want to say that Henry refused the 10, so we're passing it along to Timothy instead. So he asked us to do that. That's what we're doing. So Batman 10 is going Timothy along with the Sonic 988++.
Yeah. So Timothy's getting the benefit thanks to Henry.
And Henry's getting nothing because he actually doesn't deserve anything for talking to us like this. So that's all.
All right, Chris, you want to read Chris?
Yeah. Chris Glidden says, thumbnail game on point.
Oh, I was curious about that. It actually seems like we got less views and clicks so far. So I think I'll put Josh's beautiful face back up there instead of mine. Okay. But I appreciate that.
Kaplan says you should rename the show Brandon and the Video Game Collectors Podcast. I agree with you. So we might do that.
Yeah, people love Brandon. There's a lot of comments. Gamer Stonks. Now I'm curious who actually got first.
Blockbuster Late Fees did.
Yeah.
Always does. It's never late.
And Blockbuster Late Fees says, I was so fast, YouTube couldn't post my comments fast enough. I don't know if he's trying to do evil laugh there or what. But
all right. This ass here, Larson Town, says, what are you talking about? I never delete. Oh.
That's okay. So if you don't know, that's like a BBS meme from like 1992. That's hanging up the modem.
How'd you get it in bold in the comments?
Asterisks.
Oh.
Good at you. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta know the what did they used to call it? BB code? Yeah.
BB code. Yeah.
Old school, baby.
All right, Matt, you got the rest. Let's tear through these.
Okay, Blockbuster Late Fees. First, you win. The Chris Glidden thumbnail.
We already read these, Matt.
but they're
Wait, what happened?
no.
Did they like repeat? They did repeat.
What?
YouTube's broken. You got like 3 comments and they just repeat over and over again. Oh no.
It's a break in the matrix.
Dude, we broke the algorithm.
Wow.
To work in our favor about
Oh
comments.
man.
So you wait, Chris. I think it's because of your comment. It broke all the rest.
It did.
It reset everything because of you. You
Thank you, Chris.
System.
All right.
Oh man.
All right, I'm done. Sure.
Okay.
Man,
this was fun.
That was. Thanks again for coming on. It was a lot of fun. Happy to have you back on for sure.
Yeah.
I had fun. I had fun. Maybe next time I'll tell you the story about how I got World Series rings in the mail.
Next time. And then we'll actually talk about G.I. Joes more.
All right, cool.
Okay. Well, thank you, Chris.
Thanks for coming on. People, we love your comments. I made notes of everything you guys commented, who you want to see. We'll work on those. Thanks for watching. We appreciate the support and love. Let us know how we can help you out, and we'll talk to you again soon. All right, take care.
Bye.